From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
So I don't think that there's anything affordable, honestly.
Finding a job in Big Sky isn't too challenging, but finding an affordable place to live, that's another question. Hear about a new project in the works that could make finding a place to live a bit easier.
Vice President Kamala Harris picks up an endorsement from a key Republican, while former President Donald Trump takes his campaign to crucial swing states. I'm Naomi Rockham with what's on the docket for both candidates, now just about a month from Election Day.
And coming up in this week's Out and About, a musical just in time for Halloween based on a horror movie. We're going to explain coming up. Alrighty, it is 6 o'clock on this Friday morning. Jane McDonald and Matt Elwell with you bright and early.
Yep.
Matt, it's hard to believe, but it's already that Halloween time.
Yeah. Hey, we got our fall decorations out early this year.
Oh, very
Usually
good.
it's like the week before sometimes Thanksgiving, but Halloween we're putting stuff out.
Get the pumpkins out and just go with it.
My wife was on it this year.
That's
I loved
what I
it.
like to hear at the Elwell house.
Yeah.
You are prepared.
Somebody has to be, because it's not me. Early morning temperatures, I'm just focusing on the jackets for the morning, trying to find that. Temperatures are a little crisp, 20s. I had a little frost on my car this morning, nothing on the windshield, but won't be long. We're going to be scraping the windshields, which means I'm going to be parking in the garage.
Seat warmers on.
That was on for sure this morning. I'm kind of a wimp right now.
Me too.
Temperature-wise, you didn't have to agree so fast. Temperatures near the 80-degree mark for the afternoon. A lot of wind, high fire danger, lots of concerns in the weather world, just none of them about rain. We'll talk more about that, of course, in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Well, a housing development called the Cold Smoke Project in Big Sky will offer affordable housing strictly for the local workforce. Our Megan Elaine went to Big Sky to see how large the need for affordable housing is and just how long until it breaks ground.
That Montanans are struggling to afford housing. But what about in resort mountain towns like Big Sky, where the workforce needs to live?
So I don't think that there's anything affordable, honestly.
Big Sky cleaning business owner William Anaya says finding housing for his employees is a problem that weighs heavily on him.
Asking people like if they want to work for me, they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, do you have housing? You know, like, because everybody, probably even the Bozeman, I have friends in Bozeman, and they're like, I'll work for you, but if you give me housing up there, and it's like, how? You know, like, it's so hard to get housing here that I cannot guarantee them that.
He says the Cold Smoke development sounds promising.
Hopefully there's some solution. Like, that project sounds really awesome, honestly. So hopefully that comes around and it'll make Big Sky a lot better.
The Cold Smoke development, an affordable work housing project that isn't quite at the construction phase just yet. Gallatin County commissioners voted unanimously to approve zone map amendment in mid-September. Now the Big Sky Community Housing Trust and Lone Mountain Land Company are one step closer to breaking ground.
It's raw land today, so we'll need to do everything from putting roads in to accessing infrastructure, resident amenities, and so on.
Executive Director of the Big Sky Community Housing Trust, David O'Connor, says affordable housing is needed in Big Sky.
We operate off a housing needs assessment that's identified a deficiency of over 1,300 homes in Big Sky for workers and their families that would like to work where they live.
He says of an estimated 7,000 workers, over 80% are commuting every day.
Where we step in, we're looking to provide more permanent, full-time, year-round housing for those that want to make their home in this community forever.
David looks across the 96-acre parcel, where 125 single-family homes and 264 apartments will someday be. Just how affordable will the single-family houses be?
About 150% of the area median income up to about 225.
And the apartments?
Ranging in affordability from 80% of area median income up to 150.
Based on our calculations, that means purchasing prices would range from $189,660 to $284,400. The entire project will be deed restricted and short-term rentals will be prohibited. With a hefty project comes a large price tag.
The whole project is estimated to cost about $225 million.
They hope to break ground in 2025 or 2026. In Big Sky, Megan Elaine, MTN News.
Now on the national scene, with just a little over a month left until Election Day, both candidates are continuing their push through the nation's key swing states. Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris campaigned in Wisconsin, sharing the stage with a well-known Republican. While in Michigan, former President Donald Trump again falsely claimed he won the 2020 election. CBS News' Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
A big endorsement yesterday for Vice President Kamala Harris from a former top House Republican in the birthplace of the Republican Party, Ripon, Wisconsin.
Together, I know we can chart a new way forward, not as members of any one party, but as Americans.
Former Wyoming Congresswoman Liz Cheney has been an outspoken critic of former President Donald Trump. She lost her seat in the House after voting to impeach Trump over the January 6th insurrection.
Donald Trump is not fit to lead this good and great nation.
Liz Cheney is a stupid war hawk.
Trump slammed Cheney's endorsement on Fox News yesterday while on the trail in Battleground, Michigan.
We're going to make it again the car capital of the world.
While there, Trump again falsely claimed he won the 2020 election, and he repeated a baseless conspiracy theory about federal hurricane relief funds.
They stole the FEMA money just like they stole it from a bank so they could give it to their illegal immigrants.
The Biden administration is pushing back, calling those claims, quote, completely false. Today, Trump will stump in Georgia and North Carolina, two states impacted by Hurricane Helene, while Harris is in Michigan. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
And new this morning, the Harris Walz campaign has revealed that former President Barack Obama will hit the campaign trail to help shore up support for the Democratic ticket. His first rally is set for next week in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, preparations are underway for former President Donald Trump's return to Butler, Pennsylvania this weekend, nearly 3 months after he survived an assassination attempt there. Now, a little bit closer to home, for many women, a normal mammogram isn't always enough to detect cancer. Now, a national mandate may help those women get more testing. However, as MTN's Andrea Lutz reports, challenges still exist as additional screening isn't necessarily covered by insurance.
These scans pack quite a punch in the fight against breast cancer.
We're looking for those fast-growing cancers.
But what if a mammogram isn't enough?
I'm a high-risk person. I have a 35% lifetime risk for breast cancer.
It's a scenario Dr. Heather Gale knows all too well.
You know, I'm 40, I've had a mammogram and 2 breast MRIs, so that's what we offer patients.
Turns out Dr. Gale has dense breast tissue. 45% of women do. It means for those women, a typical mammogram will detect less than 50% of cancers. As a doctor, she opted for more answers.
So I had my breast MRI and there was a little nodule and we followed that.
But now a national mandate will arm women with more choices. A new FDA rule, which took effect just 1 month ago, requires hospitals like Billings Clinic to inform mammography patients through letters about their breast density.
At Billings Clinic, we've been sending them out for about 1.5 years. So I think everyone now nationwide is going to get these letters saying if you have dense breasts or not, and hopefully it encourages people, to continue their screening, whichever way works best for them.
45% of women don't know about breast density, but those letters, coupled with an abbreviated breast MRI, are paying off, finding more cancers.
I think it really is reflected in the cancer detection rate of the MRI, which is 7 to 20 out of 1,000 screens. So that's really the additional cancers that we're finding that are missed on the screening mammograms.
Still, patients must qualify for that additional screening. If they don't, an MRI can cost as much as $500 out of pocket. Gail says the choice is up to patients, but she knows prevention saves lives.
And I think most of us know a breast cancer survivor. And so it's just nice to share the information so that we can help women get their cancers detected earlier.
Another tool, now mandated, in the fight against breast cancer. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And a trade school in Butte got to see a new home the students built being moved by a massive crane. Highlands College students looked on as they saw the house they spent the past 2 years building being moved by D&G Crane Thursday morning. The 1,400 square foot home was carefully placed on a flatbed trailer made by the college's welding students. The construction technology students built this house so it can be used in the community as affordable housing. Proceeds from that sale will go to fund the construction of the next home by the students. And what's on your bucket list? Well, this morning we have the story of one woman who had just one thing left on hers after living 100 years. And thanks to some help from her friends, we were able to see just how she was able to make it happen.
You come across a lot of special people here at the Crossings, St. John's senior care community in Laurel. It's where Mark Lynn spent the last 15 years of a long life filled with adventures.
She had the ability to meet people, and they felt a unique connection with her.
We first introduced you to Mark Lynn, or Mark as most called her here, last spring in a story on her 100th birthday.
So I have to cherish each moment of today, including this interview. Real and special.
But along with turning 100, Mark Lynn had one other thing she still very much wanted to accomplish, one last adventure.
She told several staff that, the last thing I want to do before I die is to zip line. And
that's right, zip lining. Not an activity that comes to mind for most centenarians, but it was on her bucket list.
We were unsure if we'd be able to make it happen up until the moment we arrived at the ziplining company.
Even though she'd been moved to hospice care, Mark Lynn was determined to experience that thrill, and she did.
She got up there and she was excited, and she was a nature person, so being able to be up in the trees and waiting her turn to go down the zip line was also really special for her.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had seen it on television, and I assumed it would last a little bit longer.
So we set the whole thing up for her, and she did it.
Last Friday, less than 2 weeks after crossing off that last item on her bucket list, Mark Lynn peacefully passed away, leaving a lot of great memories for those who knew her, as well as a little inspiration for the rest of us.
She loved life, and she lived every day to the fullest.
It was the most fun ever, really.
In Billings, Russ Riesinger, MTN News.
And a special thanks to St. John's for providing us that video to use in the story. There will be a memorial for Mark Lynn Sunday at the Crossings and another one on October 6th in Red Lodge. Now, a good way to start off the spooky season is to take a trip over to Deer Lodge to see a musical horror show. The Cutler Brothers Theater is hosting a musical called Chainsaw that combines a musical theater with a classic slasher film. The musical, written and directed by Kelly Cutler, is based on the cult horror film The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This unique show, which stars local talent, includes fun musical numbers along with some frightening and disturbing moments.
We kind of have a crossroads of the musical theater people and horror movie fans, which is a weird combination, so we think there's a lot of people on the fence, but we invite both to come and enjoy it because there is stuff for both of those groups, and I think they'll walk away going, that was a little weird, but I kind of liked it,
Now, opening night was last night, but don't worry, because the show runs throughout the month of October. You can head over, see the schedule over at the Cutler Brothers Theater website, but fair warning to any parents that may be bringing any children to the show, there's going to be adult language and adult content.
So either leave them at home or bring earplugs.
Bingo, exactly. Be
Gotcha.
sure to bring the earplugs and maybe a little mask too. Spooky.
Wow. It looks like fun.
Well, it looks like fun. I gotta say, Texas Chainsaw and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, those always scared me when I was younger, watching those. I still kind of, I shy away from those even now.
Yeah, I always watch the Living Dead movies.
Oh, those are fun.
Old school.
Yeah, I like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's fun.
I like
we
that
can
one.
keep going.
Yeah, all right. Time to take a short break, but before we do, we are gonna head back down over to the southeast. We're gonna keep talking about Hurricane Helene. Specifically, this is over in Florida. Police officers there risking their lives, people applauding them for their incredible bravery when they responded to a distress call from a sailboat during Hurricane Helene's storm surge on Thursday, the day that it was all happening. Those 3 officers with the Marine unit got out onto the sailboat, helped direct the people out. I mean, risking their own lives in the wind and the rain, and oh my gosh, Matt, just
in
terrifying.
such a scary situation all the way around. I'm glad that everybody was safe with this, but this is just one story out of hundreds of police officers and first responders trying to help people that are in distress.
Yeah, and I've even heard of private citizens doing the same
Yeah,
thing, doing
there's
what they can.
a helicopter pilot that went in. It
Yes.
was, yeah, I was reading about that.
It's incredible. I mean, just a community coming together in such a horrific and terrifying time for so many people. All right, time for a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, we have your Montana forecast coming your way and much more.
I'm Tom Buchanan. The DNRC is expanding their stream gauge network. I'll bring you those details.